What is going on, y'all? Welcome to Joel Friday TV. I am Joel Friday. Few announcements before we get started. Hit that like button, smack it. Lay the smack down on the like, subscribe, and share button. Tell your peoples about the show so we get the message out. Subscribers up and the message out. Do it now, help a brother out. As you guys know, it is a talk show, so we are live Monday through Thursday at 11 a.m. at Pacific time. And at any point during the show, you can call in and we can talk about whatever you want. Agreements, disagreements. I'm here for it. We can get into it. If for whatever reason you can't call in, but you still have a question or comment, or you just want to support the show, you can go to buymeacoffee.com/JoelFridayTV. Or go directly to the YouTube live chat, hit the super chat button, send your question or comments there, and I'll read them live on air. Right? So if you can't call in, you can send a question or comment at buymeacoffee.com/JoelFridayTV. I will read them live and we can interact in that way. Amazing stuff. Let's get into it, yeah? Yeah. Shout out to YouTube, Facebook, Instagram, punchy.tv. We are live across all of those platforms. Pick which one you want to be or pick which one you want to watch from and hop into the comment section. Get the conversation going. That's what we got to do. Have the conversation. Amazing stuff. Also, I think I'm going to do something a little bit different today. I think I'm going to go to, I'm going to take a call. I'm going to take a call first, and then we'll get to, we'll see what happens. You know, I be acting like I know what's going to happen. I don't take you for granted, Terry. That is not true. Let me go to Josh at Georgia. Josh, welcome to the show. You're on the air.
Hey, what's going on, man?
How's it going, Josh?
All right, man. I was calling about the asking a girl if she'll obey you on the first date and how that's related to me. I mean, the whole Mark call we had last week with me agreeing that black men were created to serve the white man.
So you're saying? Sorry, I zoned out for a second because okay. I'm looking at the call screener here. But go ahead. Sorry about that. Go ahead. Repeat that, please.
Okay. I wanted to talk about asking a girl to whether she's going to obey you on the first date.
Okay.
And how that's related to the black man being created by God to serve the white man.
Okay. Go ahead. Explain yourself, man, because what the...
Right. I know. This is, I don't... It seems like we don't disagree, but I don't know. You know?
Okay.
So about I still... It does seem that it does seem right to me to say that the black man was created by God to serve the white man. And, I see that as if God is working through you, you're serving your fellow man. But the way Mark meant it when he called and said it was more of like, this is the white man's country, and the black man should serve the white man because we're in the white man's country.
Okay, you don't mean it that way?
I do agree with it that way.
So then,
I do agree with it.
Well, I'm confused by what you mean by it exactly.
So it's like, if you're doing everyone has a talent. Everyone has something they're good at. And if you're doing what you're good at, you're automatically going to be serving your fellow man, whether he's black, white, or Mexican, or whatever. So,
right.
And it's also the same thing with women. It's like a woman was created to submit to her husband.
Okay.
That's what she was. That's what her God created her for.
Okay.
So it's like our ego. It sounds to me like most black people don't want to admit that America is the white man's country, and that slavery was a good thing because it's why black people are here in America.
Yeah, I get what you're saying. I just don't think that's true. And the reason why it's hard to understand what you're saying, first, Josh, because the way you're explaining it makes it sound like, and I could be wrong about this, but it makes it sound like you're even unsure about if that statement is true about the blacks being created to serve whites. And my thing is that, because what it sounds like you're saying, and correct me if I'm wrong, is that you're saying that because we've been given these gifts and talents, we're created on earth to use these gifts and talents to serve other people with them. Is that correct?
Yes.
Okay. Now, if that's correct and that's the case, then why phrase it in such a way to where it makes it seem it's about race? When you say the blacks were here on earth to serve the whites,
Right.
Why not just say people were here on earth to serve people? Because if we all have gifts and talents and things, and we're all called to serve and to be of service to our fellow man, isn't that just the job as a person?
Right. You know what? You see, that's the thing. It's like all races are not equal. Different races are good at different things.
Right. But are they all meant to use their different things to serve each other?
Yes.
Okay. So what?
But you see, people don't. Well, okay. What were you about to say? Go
ahead. Well, I was just gonna say, where does the color thing come in to play? Is what I'm trying to understand. Where does the color part come into play?
Here's the truth. This is what Mark be talking about. Here's the truth. There is no black country with black people. There are about 200 black countries in the world, mostly in Africa.
Okay.
There is no black or Hispanic country where most of those, majority of them are third world countries. I don't think any white country is a third world country. And all the blacks and Hispanics are immigrating to the white countries.
Okay. And
that's what's going on all over the world for some real reason, everywhere, especially in America with our southern border,
So fair enough. That's fair enough point.
Yeah.
And I'm not sure, you could be making like factual points there that I'm just unsure about, but I'm not discrediting that at all. But I want to say, let's bring it back to what America, right?
Okay.
What makes you believe that America is a white country?
It was founded by white people.
How do you know that?
White.
How do you know that?
How do I know America was founded by white people?
Yeah.
History books. It's agreed that the founding fathers of America were white men.
See, that's the thing that is a hang up for me is because I'm not denying whether they were white or not. I'm just denying that their color had anything to do with it. Because let's just say, for one, there's a lot of whites in Africa and there's a lot of blacks in Europe. You know what I mean? So
it's really culture. Yeah. It's really more culture.
Yeah. And that's why I feel like Christianity to me is more cultural than color. And that's why it's hard for me to get with the perspective. And like I said, like I could be missing facts and I could be wrong on things, but it's hard for me to get with the perspective that anything was created by a color opposed to the spirit, the spirit, right? The spirit being used within, which can be used, in my belief, in anybody, right? To do a certain thing. So yeah, the thing that it was that the white man has this and the black man doesn't have this, like it's hard for me to get with those conversations. You know what I'm saying here? Are you following me here?
Yeah, it is confusing. Yeah, I know what you mean. It is confusing. But you know, Mark is Irish, and Irish are kind of they're black. They're like he's like Conor McGregor.
Oh, okay.
You know, like you remember the Conor McGregor Mayweather fight, right?
Yeah.
It's like Irish are very direct like that. They talk a lot of mess. They don't care who they offend. They're known for fighting. That's like because that's their culture.
Yeah.
You know, like they say Muhammad Ali was mixed with Irish. Chuck Norris was Irish guy. Mark Wahlberg. So blacks kind of. I'm thinking that's why Mark. I like when he calls into hate show. It's like I resonate. I understand where he's coming from because the Irish and the blacks kind of speak the same language, kind of.
Okay, I see what you're saying. So there's some type of connection there as far as the way certain things are said.
We're very straightforward. Blacks are very in your face with it, you know?
Yeah. The relatability and cultural, and then like a cultural aspect. Yeah. But that, you know, and I think that that's what it plays into. But I mean, culture is, you know, plays a lot, that has a lot to do with environment. Right. And, but there's also things that I feel like that could be passed on where it's like, what would you call it? Hereditary, to where it's passed on like certain behaviors too. But I think that when we're talking about culture, it's not really a color-based thing, because there's whites that act black, real black, because they grew up in the hood, and there's blacks that are called Uncle Tom, right? That
would be me.
Right.
That would be me.
Right. Yep. Myself included. So it's like, you know, I relate more with like quote unquote white culture because that's just how I was raised and that was my environment. But
me too.
You know what I mean? But I think that it comes down to more of that opposed to like it being a color thing.
Yeah, you're right. You're right about that. It's like Carlton Banks and Fresh Prince and Will Smith. You know?
Right.
They're raised differently, and but most black people are not like Carlton Banks, or like most black people are not Uncle Tom or so-called Uncle Toms. Right? Most black people are more like, and most Irish people are also not. You know, so I'm just talking about the majority.
Yeah, no, in reality,
Irish people are the way. Yeah.
In reality, I will agree with. See, in reality, in the reality that we see today with our eyes, we see that the black people, for the most part, in a lot of areas, they behave like a certain type of black, right?
Yeah.
And they behave with the things that like come from black culture, right? And that's what we're seeing. But that doesn't like make up for black behavior or people with or black people who behave that way. We're just seeing that, okay, this is the type of a group of people who identify with this cultural behavior and they're picking it up. But there's also maybe let's just say a small remnant of black people who don't. subscribe to that, right? And
Right.
so it's more so I like to just, say it as like either I don't know, it's like it's back to like the good and evil thing. It's just more so good and evil, more in the spiritual side of things than like black or white or stuff like that. If I'm making sense here.
Yeah, it's the same thing with Jews. There are Jews that are conservative and, or so-called good Jews, and then there are evil Jews, But
yeah.
I guess people still lump Jews all into the same category, which may or may not be right. I don't know.
Yeah.
That's just, well...
I don't know. I just think that we have to more so remember the truth, which is everything is spirit. Everything is a spiritual thing. Obviously, we don't have to be delusional about the fact that our skin color is different, right? But we don't have to place identity on it. You know what I mean? And because if we're being, without being too churchy about it, if we're being honest, everybody is made in the image of God, right? We're a reflection of His Spirit at our true nature. So if that's the case, then what really separates us, other than environment? Nothing. We're exactly the same. So
there's nothing. But it's like it's okay. It sounds like Mark is saying he's better than black people.
That's what it comes off. That's what it comes off as when he says those things.
Right. But he didn't say that though. But it just comes out. But he didn't.
Maybe so. You may be so, and maybe he didn't get a chance to properly explain it. But that's how it came off for sure.
Right. And but I don't think he would have called your show if he truly believed that. 'Cause he called you black, and he called Nick.
But
so he's not like a racist.
I don't think that I don't think that he's racist. I do think that he has some anger, unresolved anger, and judgment against people in a shallow way when it comes to the color of people's skins. I do think that he's looking at that. But it's not racism, right? He's just looking at the behavior of the majority of blacks. And because of that, to me, that's what seems to drive the question or his comment about blacks being subject to whites. To me, it comes from that place of this judgment of blacks being less than, opposed to him trying to have a more, logical explanation of things, because it's just a weird way to phrase it. So
you think so? See, this is what women say about when you say obey me. You're saying women are less than men.
Fair.
You're saying it's
No,
so
that's true. That's true, but it's more it's not only just wording, it's also how he's going about it, how he's explaining it. And I've heard him enough on just I can't really know how he truly feels, right? But I can say from his comments on the Hake Report and how he feels about certain things, I can get an idea of the way he views blacks or the way he views, people he likes versus people he doesn't like. You know what I mean? And that's the same energy when he called my show. He came with that. So I'm like, okay, well,
But he was positive though, right? It sounded like he wasn't like he respected you.
No, yeah, he respects me because he likes me. But the people he doesn't like, he doesn't respect. At least that's what it seems like by his words and by the things, the way he explains himself on the show. So, that's just the only thing. It's like, okay, well, I can't just say, yeah, that makes sense when the way he's explaining it is not making sense to me.
Yeah. And he did call Nick's show and say that white people were not created by God to serve black people.
Right. So it's like, what do we do? So it's like, what do we do? So
he means it in the way that, look, this is the white man's country. So that's how I see it. Well, and black should be grateful to be in America's country. But it's the opposite. We're taught that the white man is our enemy.
Right.
We're taught that we should hate. All our problems are because the white man is suppressing us, which is a lie.
Well, yeah, true. And I know that at the end of the day, I know that Mark means as well as he can, and I know that and that's that's the way I look at it, opposed to getting hung up on whether or not he's trying to, pull a fast one on all blacks or something. But I have to.
Okay.
I'm running out of time. Yeah, I'm running out of time.
Okay. All right,
call me again though, because not everybody wants to get in on this. Call me again, man.
Okay, man. All right, bud. Appreciate it, man.
All right. Have a good one.
Yeah.
Let me just move the calls. And then we'll kind of go from there. I have so much stuff I want to follow up with that, but I want to move the calls really quick. Ronnie at Ohio. Ronnie, welcome to the show. You're on the air.
Joel, how we doing?
How's it going, Ronnie? All is well.
Yeah, I can't complain. All is well.
Nice.
I've been hearing Josh from Georgia call in a couple times on that topic.
Yeah.
About why, I guess, really answering the question why were black people created, and saying that we were created to serve white people. It might be the dumbest thing I've ever heard.
It's a wild statement. It's a very wild statement because it's set up improperly to me. And what Josh, and I'm gonna let you get your point, but what Josh is trying to explain it, he's explaining it in a fair-minded way, but it's still phrased just weird to me. But go ahead.
Yeah, and today he tried to, I guess, solidify the argument by comparing it to women being created to submit to their husbands.
Right.
And I'm not even sure that I 100% agree with that take.
Okay.
But even that spiritual order of God and Christ and man over woman, that's from God. God doesn't say, all right, while you guys are on earth, black people, you are subservient to white people.
Right.
It's the dumbest thing I've heard. And then to say that black people should be glad that slavery happened is either the second dumbest thing or it might be dumber than the first thing that he said.
Well, let me. I'll go ahead, finish your point, and then we'll get to it.
Yeah, I was going to say, because I guess his argument would be, look at Africa and how messed up it is, and it's better to live here in America than live over there. And my argument would be, if black people weren't taken from Africa and they were able to capitalize on their own gold and timber and iron and the stuff that was coming out of Africa, there might not even be in America. So the way he's looking at it is he's only doing a half-ass revision of history by saying that it's better to grow up here in America than in Africa, and then not explain why.
Yeah. That's my only thing that with Josh, when Josh was trying to explain these certain things, he's not really making the best points about it, so it's hard to understand his perspective on it. And when it comes to, like, for me, the whole conversation of blacks serving whites, just that itself is just off to me, right? It's just improper. It doesn't make sense to me. Whether people mean it that way or not, whatever, that's how it's coming off, and I don't agree. But when it comes to the slavery thing, blacks, what was the comment? That blacks should be happy about slavery?
Yeah, he said because it's better for us to grow up here in America than over there.
So that point is, I understand what they mean by that, because you should be grateful that the way life turned out. Now, it doesn't mean that you're not acknowledging that there's some hardships that you had to go through that maybe weren't fair or weren't whatever. But in the grand scheme of things, you become grateful that it, potentially made you a better person and then brought you to a free country where eventually you were freed and you were able to go live your life and do what you wanted to do. So I understand that perspective.
I mean, I get that. And I guess in this day and age, it's winning the lottery almost to be born in America than to be born Venezuela or somewhere else. But to celebrate the enslavement of people and then turn around and say this is a white man's country, I'm just like, dude is lost.
No, yeah, and so what your hang up is the fact that the part where it seems as if slavery is celebrated as a good thing in spite of there being so much, allegedly things that went on back then. You don't think that
Yes.
that's proper? Okay, I understand
That's correct. Yeah, especially when
that.
he combines. Yeah, because he'll combine it with. It's really three parts. It's three layers to it. He'll say slavery is something that we should be happy that it happened. This is a white man's country, and then even in 2024, black people were created to serve white people. Because if he says it the other way around, that it also works. Like if serving your fellow man by fulfilling the gifts you were given.
Yeah.
If he says that means that it's okay for white people to serve black people, then okay. But if he's saying that it's only a one-way street,
that's why
I still take issue with it.
No, yeah, and that's why I don't like the way it's framed, because it sends an improper message to me. Like, if you're gonna say, "Oh, blacks were meant to serve whites and whites were meant to serve blacks too," why not just take the color out of it completely and just say that we're created to serve others on Earth?
Boom.
You know what I mean?
Boom.
And that's why, I liked, and even the whole white man's country thing, I don't like the phrasing of that either, because, I just see it as, America being the holy land where, God anointed the country, God anointed people to come here and build the country. And I see it more as a godly thing. I don't know if you're a Christian or not, but I see it more of as a spiritual thing, opposed to, white men or black men or Asians or any of that stuff.
Yeah, I agree wholeheartedly.
Okay.
None of that stuff happens without, I guess, divine intervention.
Right.
So if God, I don't think God blessed America because it was founded by white people.
Right.
I think he blessed America because he blessed America. So it's to try to just give one race that credit. And then as Jesse says, when we look at the founding fathers, like, where are they now? Like, all of them, they dead. So
yeah,
to try to still give them all the credit and then say, okay, based on what they did, over 200 years ago, that today in 2024, we're supposed to still be subservient to white people. That's insane.
Yeah. Yeah. When it comes to the racial thing, I don't always agree with everybody. When it comes to that thing, I just see it a little bit differently. I understand where they're coming from, and I think that a lot of the time it's hard to understand where somebody may be coming from. But I've heard it for so many years, so I understand like JLP or some of the guys here or some of the callers what they mean by certain things. But yeah, sometimes I just don't agree with the phrasing of it. And when you say Mark or Josh agree with black men being servants to whites, I just can't agree. On face value, I just can't get with that statement. It just sounds wrong. It just sounds off to me. So, but when Josh tries to explain it, the best that he can, then it just kind of, I understand where he's trying to go with it. So,
yeah. Agreed. Because the examples he gave made sense. We were created to serve each other. Yeah, so I agree with him on that notion. But to say that it's with regard to race, and I agree with you, to even make race a factor in that is kind of setting yourself up for failure. But if you're going to include race and then say that it's one race that's only supposed to be serving the other one, that's where you lost me.
Yeah.
So. But I know you got other calls coming in limited time, so keep them wheels moving. And I appreciate you letting me get in there.
Yeah, I appreciate it, Ronnie, and call me again. Thanks for the call.
Sir, take care.
All right. Right on. Let's move the call. Let's change the topic up a little bit. We'll come. I'm gonna come back. We'll circle back, but I got some callers that want to get in on other stuff, and I want to take them as well. So, other callers, be patient. I will get back to you. But let me go to Seasal out of Texas. Seasal, welcome to the show. You're on the air.
Hola, Joel. These shows this week have been it feels like it's Friday, but it's
nice.
barely Tuesday.
That's a good thing, right?
Yeah. Very,
Right on.
very informative, very entertaining. You guys are doing an amazing job as always.
Right on. Right on.
So Joel, two quick things.
Yeah.
I'm gonna try to be quick. Number one, you did that girl dirty, bruh.
Which one?
The one that you saw and she saw you and you saw her.
What'd I do? What'd I do?
And then she immediately drops her friends and she's like, oh, okay, I'm gonna, separate myself so this guy can come and talk to me.
Oh, I see.
And then you just left her hanging.
And that's
What
true.
the heck?
That's a good point. I didn't even think of it like that. I honestly did not think of it like that until you said it right now, is that because I did gesture and I did look back, and then when she goes to separate herself for me to go talk, then at that point I wanted to change my mind. So I did kind of leave her hanging. So you're right about that. What the? You weren't supposed to call in and call me out? What? No, I'm playing.
I know. I'm just giving you a hard time. I actually called for something else. I called because the title of your show about the emotions, I play some of the educational channels for my kids, for my toddler.
Nice.
And they teach them the typical ABCs, blah, blah, blah. But I've noticed there's this specific channel that has millions upon millions of views. Anybody that has kids knows who this lady is, right? Mm-hmm. She's adored by families and kids across the nation. Anyway, I've been noticing that they're pushing the emotions thing so much. She even made up this song of, it's okay to have big emotions, and then she teaches them. I always turn it off when that part comes, but she teaches them anger, and then she's like, it's okay to be angry.
Oh, yeah.
Stuff like that. And I'm like, wow. And these are 3-year-olds.
Yep. And it's starting them
so
young.
Training them.
Yeah, training them young. Yep. You're totally right about that. And what is this? This like a cartoon, or what is it? YouTube video, or what is it?
YouTube videos. She does educational videos, so it's like a teacher in front of the camera, and she's teaching them, the colors. I play it when I have to cook or when I have to, mop or something that takes up all my attention or whatever.
Oh, I see, I see. And what's so interesting about that too, is that these things end up being so convincing by the way it's presented, right? Because it's presented in such a way as very inviting, it's very playful and fun and animated.
Innocent.
Yeah, it's very innocent, exactly. But it's saying certain things that are whispers in the ear. So yeah, parents really got to pay attention to what's going on,
Right. So anyway, that's all I wanted to say. But thank you for taking my call, Joel.
Well, right on. And I'm about to add to what you said about the emotion thing. So make sure you, if you're not busy, tune in.
Yeah.
All right.
Okay. Thank you.
Thanks, Isao. Appreciate it. Nice. Callers, give me 1 second. I'm gonna come back to you. And you can call in. There's some lines open. 888-775-3773. I want to make a point that C-Sal just brought up right now about emotions. And and I love the fact that, really quick, comment on C-Sal's call, is that she's aware of these cartoons or animation things that are going on YouTube and stuff like that. Because there's so many little, I don't know, networks or shows that do say little things, and they're teaching your kids at a young age. And if you're not aware of it, out of nowhere, your kid turns 13 and then they start turning on you. You know what I mean? So it's good that C-Sal's paying attention to that in some of these videos and course correcting. But emotions. I get into discussions, debates with people about emotions. And everybody wants to justify having them right? And that's fine. You know, people have the right to live how they want to live and do what they want to do. But I always try to explain the difference between the light of God, which is emotionless, not robotic, but emotionless, and actual emotions, and the difference between the two. But a lot of people want to defend it. And it dawned on me one day, and I wanted to see what you guys thought about it, where emotions come from. Now, before I explain, I think it's important that we don't over-demonize certain things, because then you put an over-importance on, like you put a judgment on them, like over-demonizing emotions and judging them as so bad. So then when you have an emotion, now you're feeling all guilty and shameful. You don't want to do that, right? But you want to be aware of where they come from. So let me just explain, and this is just my opinion. I want to take it all the way back to the beginning of time, right? Adam and Eve, the Garden of Eden. And I was thinking, because it says that God said, do not eat from the apple, right? And the question always is why, right? Still to today, everybody's wondering, well, why? What's so bad about the knowledge of good and evil? What's so bad about, and I want to explain it a little bit, is the reason why God said no, and by the way, he knew Adam and Eve were going to rebel. This was all part of the plan. He already knew this was going to happen. So he wasn't shocked, like, oh my God, what? God knew. Same reason why Jesus knew that Peter and them were going to deny him 3 times. Same thing. He already knew it was going to happen. But the reason why God said no is because, for one, at this point, Satan already fell from heaven. Satan was already, that's evident, right? Because the serpent had to be Satan to tempt Eve. So Satan already fell from heaven. When Satan fell from heaven, he was stripped away of all understanding, insight, and light, right? He didn't have no light. So all he was emotions and ego and all this stuff. And the reason why God said no is because when Eve bit into the apple, it awakened her emotions. It awakened her emotions. God didn't want that to happen, because the emotions are what falsely confirm the lies. So the reason the emotions awakened, they were first awakened by the knowledge of good and evil. So we heard of that, right? The knowledge of good and evil. And all that really is Satan's lies, right? Satan's lies. And the knowledge of good and evil is the false perception of right and wrong. Okay? Knowledge of good and evil is just a false perception of right and wrong. And what that is you making the decision of what is good and what is bad. Also known as judgment. And before anybody ate the apple, before it even happened, Adam was in the garden living by the light of God. Satan was there too, tempting Adam, like whatever you were saying. But it was, and the temptations were just the whispers and the thoughts in Adam's mind, just like we get today, right? Those thoughts in our mind that we think are us, right? The thoughts telling us all kinds of weird, crazy, insane things. But Adam lived by the light of God, so those thoughts and stuff didn't stick. They didn't stick, right? They would just pass because he had understanding, right? He had the inside of God. So what happened when they ate the apple is the emotions awakened. And now when Satan was able to add or speak the lies into the mind, the emotions latch onto it and falsely confirmed it, right? And now it seems so true. It seems so real because the emotions identify with the thought, right? And now it's real, right? God didn't want that to happen because then he knew that people wouldn't be able to see. Adam and Eve wouldn't be able to see clear. They will believe the lies, right? Because the feelings confirmed it. The feelings imitated God's love, God's peace, God's joy, right? And I just realized that the very reason why Satan fell from heaven, he was cast away, is because Satan wanted to be his own God, right? It was pride. It was ego. He wanted to be his own God. He didn't want to follow orders. He wanted to do his own thing. He wanted to be an individual. So when God cast him away, he became his own God. He became his own God with his own understanding, right? And he whispers his Bible into our ears. His Bible, his way of viewing life. And what he actually doing by nature is playing God. He's playing God. And when we believe the thoughts, we're playing God. So anytime that we identify with either right or wrong, we're playing God. We're judging. And we're not walking in the light. I'm going to tell you why. Because there's no understanding in right and wrong. There is no right and wrong in understanding. When you understand something, you understand it, right? You see it clear for what it is. You understand why a person thought that way. There's no right and wrong in it. Am I making sense? There's no right and wrong with it. It's just understanding. And the reason why we judge in the first place, and the reason why we even have feelings, is because we're believing the thoughts, the lies, the judgment that say something that's not true. Let me give you a couple of examples, and I'm off this, and I'm off of it. We'll entertain it later. Maybe other episodes. But if you see a attractive person on the street, right? Fine. Maybe it's just me. But if you see an attractive person on the street and that person is looks good, and then you want something from them, whether it be to talk to them, even if it's genuine, to try to get to know them, you want something from them, right? That's only because in our mind we already made up that we like what we see and we want that. But that's not true. We don't know that. We don't know what that comes with. But we're willing to take the risk. Why? Because we feel something about it. It feels like, that's good. That's a good thing. I want that. This is good. Good things are going to come from this. Right? That's just the feelings and the thoughts deceiving us to believe that. When you see a bear, if you're walking on the sidewalk and I don't know, you see a bear, what's your first thought? It ain't to say, hey, bear. You know what I mean? Your first thought is like, I know we about to get eaten. First thought is to run. That's also a judgment, the judgment and the feeling. When you don't know what happened. When you see a black man, what's the first thing you want to do? Get a gun. Nah, I'm playing. I'm just playing YouTube. That was just a joke. But it's all just judgments. So yeah, emotions come from, it's Satan's false version of God's light. Joy, peace, love, patience. Satan came and imitated the same exact thing in emotion form. So we think it's God, it ain't. You know what I mean? It's not. There's no emotions to God. And emotions only set you up. Just think about it. Emotions only they set you up to let you down. They make you feel good, and they make you feel bad. They make you want more, than they make you know what I mean? They set you up. And being emotionless does not mean you're a robot. The light of God has its own way of living and moving. Higher, way higher, and way more appropriate than emotions. And you can have, and you can still, in my belief, I can be wrong, because I ain't, you can still have all the things that you think you won't be able to have if you overcome. So I'm not saying that you have to believe what I'm saying, but I'm just saying, like, don't be so close. Don't have such a just closed-minded on the fact that emotions may not be where you want to be. And be open to the idea that maybe emotions may not be it. That way, if I'm wrong, then hey, you go back to doing your regular thing. No sweat off your back. But if I'm right about it, then you could be on to something new. So, anyway. Let me go back to some of these calls really quick. Should I check the super chats? Super chats. I forgot to read Terry's super chat yesterday, so I'm gonna read Terry's super chat. Don't play with women's hearts like that. Joel, Terry was talking about me yesterday when I didn't go talk to the girl. And Cecil and Terry are right though. I did lead it on by like googly eyes. I was looking and like, pretending like I was interested, and I was interested. But when it was time to go actually talk to her, I'm like, wait, I'm not that interested. I don't want to go muster up some flirty words or whatever. Like this was uncomfortable. So I let it on. That's true. That is true. And it's probably going to happen again. I ain't going to lie to you. I ain't going to lie to you. It's probably going to happen again. I'm sorry. But thank you, Terry. Appreciate it. Let me go to JC at Arkansas. JC, welcome to the show. You're on the air.
Hello, Joel. I know you don't have much time, so I'll try to be very quick.
Okay, go ahead.
How are you, sir?
All is well. Thanks, JC, for asking. How are you?
I'm that black man. If you see a black man get a gun, get a gun. Oh, Jesus.
I knew you were gonna
that
like.
applies to you.
I knew you were gonna like that one.
I was like, my goodness. Okay, so let me try to be quick. I know I have topics, but I do want to say something about today, Shal. Is temptation an emotion?
Is temptation emotion? Oh yeah, it's what it really is just words that emotion attach themselves to. It is a judgment.
Okay. And so does that mean you said Eve first felt like emotion when she took a bite of the apple, but she already had temptation within her, so she was already feeling emotion.
She was already. That's a good point. She was being seduced by the serpent, the Satan. She was being seduced, and in that seduction, she took the bite.
Okay. And being one of the reasons that I called, I wanted to get your opinion.
Wait, but what was your point really quick about? What was your point really quick about that part?
Well, you said that Eve first felt emotion when she took a bite of the apple, but I would argue that it was already within her to even feel temptation to take the bite of the apple.
Yeah, it was already. So are you saying that like Satan had nothing to do with it?
You were saying that she first felt emotion when she took the bite of the apple, right?
Oh, I said it awakened the emotions. Like the door was opened when she bit the apple, but they were laying dormant there beforehand.
Right. She already had some emotions. Her and Adam was living peacefully and everything. They just had to follow God's ruling and everything. But no, they fell for temptation, and she listened to that serpent.
Yeah.
And now we all got to suffer. But I digress. So I was going to move on to why I called. I want your opinion. So I heard a quote earlier from someone who said, if a woman gets raped and becomes pregnant, then that means she enjoys being raped. What are your thoughts on that?
If a woman gets pregnant from being raped, then she enjoys being raped? What?
That's something that I heard earlier today and last week.
Wait,
what are your thoughts on that?
I don't understand. You're saying I don't understand the question. A woman enjoys, if she gets pregnant from being raped, it's because, ask it again?
So if a woman is raped and becomes pregnant, then that means she enjoyed it because she got pregnant, so that meant she enjoyed it. That's what somebody said. That's what some horrible person said.
Well, it's hard. I don't know if you have an agenda by asking me this because that person is listening, because it kind of seems like you want me to co-sign what you're saying to prove somebody wrong.
No, I want to get your opinion on right and wrong.
Fair enough. I could be wrong about that, but it's almost kind of a crazy question because, of course, that doesn't necessarily mean that she enjoyed being R-worded because of the fact that she went on with the pregnancy. It could obviously mean that she didn't want to go the abortion route. She wanted to see it through, and she did. It doesn't mean that she had to enjoy being R'd.
Right. That's what I thought, too. I've never, I'm very much, I'm a liberal, but I'm someone that also is like, if a lady is raped and becomes pregnant, I don't want her to terminate the baby, but if she can't live with that baby, at least give it up for adoption. That's what I feel.
What was your problem? What was your problem with the question, though?
Saying that somebody being enjoyed being raped, that's horrible.
Yeah, just sounds like
enjoyed being raped.
That just sounds like the person that just sounds like the person who said it got a little ego fulfillment out of phrasing it in that way, for whatever reason. But you got triggered by it.
Yeah, I mean, would you not? I mean,
No.
that's sort of advocating for rapists and not rape victims.
He's advocating for it.
Weird.
Oh, I don't know if it. Go
It's
ahead.
weird for me. It's weird and disgusting when I heard that. And I know you got to go, so I
Yeah.
want to make one more point, if that's okay.
Yeah, one more point.
Okay. I don't understand how people that are black can agree with people like Mark and stuff. Like, I heard one of your callers earlier really just sending his praises for Mark, somebody who's definitely a Klansman. Like, that's weird and scary, too. There's some weird energies and weird people in this world. I know you don't necessarily fully agree with me. You don't necessarily fully agree with Mark either.
Yeah.
But, like, Mark absolutely hates black people. He hates black people and stuff. And then there are black people that are like, oh, Mark, that's a good man. That's a good massa and stuff. And that's disturbing. It's very disturbing.
Do you hate Mark for hating blacks?
I've recently enjoyed hating people. There are people that hate me, and so I recently am returning the favor.
Is that good?
I hate him.
Is that good?
Yeah, I hate him.
Is that good?
He's not good, and he hates
No, I
me.
mean, like, you,
So,
is that like, do you look at yourself exactly the same as the people that you hate?
No.
Why?
Because when I try to be righteous, when I try to pray for these type of people and stuff, it still is, oh, these jungle monkeys need to go back to Africa, or these Negroes this, these Negroes that, and stuff. That's the type of things that I have to hear.
So why not let them?
He can go to HE double hockey.
Why not let them suffer in their own misery, and you work on being free and living in peace with you and the people around you, though?
But because he's still spewing hatred on airwaves.
Only because you're listening. Viewers. Only because you're listening.
And don't get me wrong, I laugh every time he calls in. It's a clown show for me every time I get to hear him. I tune in to the shows every day just to try to hear him because it is comedic. It's comedic of his ignorance.
Yeah, it's very entertaining. It's very entertaining to hear Mark speak. And there's a lot of things that I don't agree with when it comes to Mark, but there are things that I agree with. But it does come off entertaining. But let me ask though really quick, because the thing that I'm stuck on is the idea of, do you not see how if you have that same energy that he's giving you, or white people give you, or whatever, whoever does, that you are being no different than them? You're exactly what they are.
No, sir. Do you think you defend evil sometimes too often, by the way?
No, I just think that hate is hate. Isn't it hate is hate?
Hate is hate and stuff. I mean, my thing is, I do hate the person that Mark is. The evil that he spreads and stuff.
Yeah.
I do hate that. I do hate that because he has no love. He has no love. Do I wish him dead? Do I wish ill will on him? I'm not going to mourn him. I'm not going to mourn him. If he were to die tomorrow, well, I would not mourn him.
Do you have love?
Be more happy.
Do you have love?
Yes, Joel.
So
I have love.
how come if you have hate, like you admitted to, but yet you have love, how come Mark doesn't have love, though he also has hate, according to you?
Because I was able to feel a lot of the hatred when I was trying to love people, especially in this audience, especially like the Marks and others.
Yeah.
I was trying. I tried for a long time,
and
I was told not to pray for people. And that's something that's just a little bit dangerous for me. If I can't even offer a prayer to you from the Lord, and you don't want that because you say it's cursed and I need to be rebuked, then no, I don't mind hating these days and being a little bit open about some of the people who I hate. Yeah, I hate Mark. Don't really like William. There's a lot of people that I can go into long details of who I hate and stuff.
But I don't think I understand why you feel the way you feel about certain things. Like I totally understand it. And sometimes people say crazy things or they say things that make you feel a certain way. I understand that.
They say mean things.
Right.
They say
Right.
mean
But
things about
your
people that look
energy
like
too,
us.
your energy too, can be interpreted the same way. When you say these things about Mark, I feel the energy from you that feels hateful, that feels improper, that doesn't feel of God. I feel that same thing that you're giving back to Mark. But what's crazy is that I don't know if you truly don't see that that's the same or you don't want to believe it.
I think if you were to ask that Klansman Mark, does he hate people? He would lie and say, no, I don't hate anyone. I'm a Christian or I'm a Catholic. I love everybody and stuff in his stupid, weird way of saying things. But you actually asked me honestly, do I hate people?
Yeah. Are you open? Okay, well, are you open to the idea that you are just as wrong for hating as you accuse Mark of being?
That's something I have to ponder because it took me a long time to even want to hate people. I didn't even like the word hate for many years until I invited myself into this community, the Bond community, where I experienced so much hate from people that call themselves Christians. Like, I'm pretty sure in the chat right now, there's people calling me evil, calling me all types of things that you're not going to call out.
And that's none of your business, though. That's none of your business because you're never going to be able to stop people from saying what they're going to say. You're never going to be able to stop people from being mean or hateful or angry. All we can do is figure out why are we offended by it and we work on overcoming. But when you call people, but when you can't, it's not right for you to call Mark a Klansman because what if when you call and I say the Klansman JC, that would bother you.
Yeah, but Mark, it's not an insult for Mark to be a Klansman. Mark probably loves all the Klan and everything.
But see, you're blind to your own. Right now, you're being just as hateful. You're blind to your own ways, calling yourself trying to hate the bully, but you're being a bully trying to hate the bully. Because you're being a bully. Because you're giving it right back. You're doing it. It's coming from the same exact place. Mark, you think Mark is hateful, but you're just hating the bully.
I don't know if it's me being hating the bully or becoming the bully. I think it's good versus evil and stuff. In my opinion, I'm the hero of this story.
How are you the hero, though?
In Mark's opinion, he'll see me as the villain. He'll see me as the villain and stuff.
Exactly.
And so I don't mind. And that's the thing. I've said this before. I never mind being the villain in someone else's story. I never mind that. I don't go out to try to be villains and stuff. I try to be heroic and everything. That's why I call these shows and give my opinion and stand up for what I believe in. But again, I don't mind being the villain in someone else's story. That's never a problem.
Well, I just want to, and then I just got to move the calls, and I appreciate the call, but
yes, sir.
I would highly consider just paying attention, and like you said, you think about stuff. I'll highly just consider you think about it because, from my opinion, my perspective, you are giving out the same exact energy. I see you as no different from Mark or anybody else because I just see it as anger and being anger, emotions being emotions, and you. It seems like you enjoy it really quick. It seems like you enjoy you getting a fulfillment from getting like your justice by hating him back, and that's only making you feel better. But it ain't solving no problems. It ain't no solution. It ain't fixing nothing, but just doing the same damage that you think is being done on you. But go ahead, last comment, and I gotta end.
No, I love calling people out. My last comment is: do you feel like you defend evil sometimes? Do you feel like you
Good point.
You're calling me out. You'll call me out a lot of times when I'm defending women, when I'm defending homosexuality, blacks, whatever.
Yeah.
But there's a lot of things that you do not call out, sir.
I called out, but if you heard my call with Mark, the whole call was me talking to him exactly the same way I was talking to you. I was trying to understand why he would make the crazy statement that blacks were created to serve whites. I totally disagree with that, still disagree with that. And I was trying to do the same thing I'm doing to you. And I don't defend evil or good. I just I speak to all people. I defend I just try to get to the understanding of what people are thinking and what I believe to be true. So I'm not defending evil or even defending good. I think that you say good things sometimes, and I also think you say crazy things, and I see that across the board with all people. So I look at it the same.
I again thank you for your platform.
Yeah.
Thank you for letting me speak and everything. I know you got to go do the wheels. Lions being check in, but
right on.
I have my feelings about that. I've got to be honest, as you. I hope you would respect me for being. And I don't like that guy.
Right.
That's an evil person. Bye.
All right, appreciate it, JC. Have a good one. Call me again. But that's a perfect example. I enjoy talking to Mark, and anyway, I don't have to explain it. But let me just get to really quick. Cedric out of Los Angeles. Can you hear me?
What's going on, Joel?
How's it? Oh, what up? Can I say your actual name, or you were trying to hide it?
No, go ahead.
What up, Fred?
I'm doing all right.
Right on.
Yeah. I usually hate calling me Rika, so I didn't go by Rika.
Oh, okay.
I ain't got nothing to say about Mark and what he's talking about because I learned how to change my perspective. You know what I'm saying? That's what I wanted to call you and talk to you about.
Okay.
Sometimes when you think all thoughts are lies, it's because you let them into your head and you made them definite. Don't never make a thought definite. Move to the side 360 times if you have to, because you can always see it from a different perspective. So just change your perspective, and that thought will never get to you feeling a certain type of way. If you with a girl, and just like you walked away from that one, she changed your perspective because she led on that it was that easy for you to have it and you didn't want it no more. I get that. But you can change your perspective and still work with a female and see where it goes without just giving up. Because your perspective can always change.
I agree with that. And I think what you're trying to say, and correct me if I'm wrong, but is that if you stay open to the idea, just stay open to what's in front of you, then you can realize that it may not actually be what it seems. And it wasn't so.
Don't let a perception turn into a thought. Just know you might be misperceiving what you're seeing. And as long as you always say, I got to check my perception, you ain't got a thought to feel a certain type of way about. Because once you've made that perception a thought, now you done stood on this perception and you believe it, and now it's going to lie to you. Never make that perception definite. You know what I'm saying? You always think before you come to a conclusion, you know what I'm saying, of all possibilities.
I agree.
This person could be slow. This person could not know no better. This person could be trying to get on. This could be a prank. You know what I'm saying? It's always ways to step back and look at the situation. Like Mark, I could easily get mad at people just saying stuff to controversial stuff. Just get the phone to ring. You know what I'm saying? That black dude, he don't really feel like that. I'm thinking this dude just wants to be in on the caller wars. You know what I'm saying? Make yourself prevalent. What's the issue? You know what I'm saying? I'm loving where the world is today. It's God's plan. Let him cook. Everything else can take a back seat.
I agree, Frederick. Keep a open mind, and you never know what you're gonna find. I agree, Frederick, and I appreciate it.
Not man. A problem, Joel. Yep. Have a good day.
All right, you as well.
I know you overtime. Later.
Thank you, man. I agree. I'm so out of time, but this caller's been on the line for a while, and I want to get to real quick. I just want to get to these people real quick. Jamil out of Canada. Jamil, welcome to the show. You're on the air.
Joel, how you doing, brother?
How's it going, Jamil?
Everything is nice. Everything is nice. I just wanted to comment real quick on the emotion topic you guys are talking about.
Right on.
Yeah, you understand? So as you guys were talking, I realized, like, it started to make me think, you know, and I would like to know what you think about this. A lot of the times, even when it comes to people's emotions, I find it definitely comes from believing thoughts. But I also, after listening and learning from other people, like, you know, like listening to you guys and everybody, I begin to really understand what it means when giving things titles. Like giving something a title where you, like the devil can hide behind the title. And I think one of the titles that we hide behind and we give it a kind of positive position in our life is greed. To the point where even people think that they have a right to other people's thoughts. So that even when they're so greedy that they're like, well, and even for me, myself, I'm not talking about the people, I'm talking about me.
Yeah.
As an individual, it's like you want people to agree with your perspective.
Yeah.
You want people to agree with how you feel. You're so greedy.
Yeah.
You're so greedy like Eve that was not hungry, but she just had to have that apple.
Yeah.
That you even want the thoughts of other people. And I find that to be like people, they don't even realize that they're doing it. Like, even sometimes I'm watching you guys channel your show or whatever, and I don't ever go into comments because I find it to be a very dark place. Yeah. But I'm realizing what you guys are talking about and the comments that the people are making, I realize why I never go there. They're literally doing what you guys are suggesting maybe you should avoid. And they don't realize they even have time to type out what they feel about what somebody else said. And I think one of the devil's greatest tricks, I always grew up hearing this, they said back home, what is the devil's greatest trick? And they say it's to get you to believe he doesn't exist. Yeah. And after listening to you guys talk and Jesse talk and everybody, I realized, how does he get you to do it? By getting you to believe that your thoughts are your own. Yeah. And since the day you're born, he's been feeding them to you. And I think people have to pay attention to their greed. I think greed for me has been very destructive in my life. Yeah. So I'm not just talking about people. I'm just talking about my personal experiences. Like, I want the women that you can't have every woman. It's impossible. Yeah. You can't. You can't go to every restaurant. You can't tip every waiter. You can't try every drink at the beer store, at the bar. Yeah. You can't have every car. But people actually believe what people tell them when it's like, you can have it all. But everything is not meant for you. And the minute that everything is meant for you, it becomes demonic. And I would like to know what you think about that, like coming from that perspective.
No, 100%. I agree. You're right on the money when it comes to that. You say the word greed, and that's true. People want things from people, and it's not because they really want to genuinely see, for the most part, them be better or to overcome. It's because they want to feel better about whatever they're doing. And I think a lot of the time when people do, like you said, with the titles, what it does is when you give somebody a title or when you judge them or call them this or that, it makes it easier for you to deal with them with your own self, right? Opposed to taking the time to listen or understand. And in understanding, you can understand what's really going on, and you can actually be of service in a better way.
But once you give them the title, you are able to more easily disregard them completely.
100%. Exactly.
Yes, I understand.
And this is how people, Jamil, you're making a great point, because this is how people navigate in life, because it helps them. It brings them less. It's less work for people. It makes it easy for them. It's like a false version of confidence or security to be able to just wipe people off, so that way you can feel better about yourself. But that's just not how it works. That's just not the proper way to go about it. So you're on the money, Jamil. 100%.
Yeah, and it even makes you think as though you're moving forward in life, but you're not moving forward. You're actually taking shortcuts. Yeah. The only difference is you're taking shortcuts with people, and that is very detrimental to our existence here. You cannot take shortcuts with people. Yeah. When people take shortcuts with each other, it only creates evil. It begins to breed a place where people, because the minute I realize if I take a short.
Oh, we lost Jamil. The the network gods were not in favor of the. He was making great points though, and I want to add to that really quick is this last point he was making is that when it comes to people, is that you could easily think that you're getting ahead by judging people, putting people in these categories, because it makes you give you more control in your own life. But what happens is you stop learning, you stop growing, because where people are also in our lives, people in general, to learn from each other, to help each other, right? And when we have understanding and when we understand people, we're able to more learn from them, which feeds us, right? Which helps us grow. But when we judge and we put people in categories or write them off as evil or write them off as bad people, and we give them these identities, we close off our learning capabilities from them, because we identify with right or wrong again. They're wrong, so what could I learn from them? They're wrong. Bye. But they also have the Spirit of God within them, whether they know it or not. And at times, that through God's grace, that Spirit of God is revealed and things can be learned. So judgment only hurts you. It only hurts the individual. Judgment only hurts you. It don't hurt, like JC was saying, he thinks that it's hurting Mark. Mark don't care nothing about JC. It's hurting JC. And Mark's anger towards the blacks is hurting Mark. It ain't hurting nobody else but him. And it keeps you from learning from one another, and it keeps you from peace, love, joy, the real thing that all people are seeking after. So judgment, judgment is not real. And it's not of God, and it's not righteous. There ain't no thing and no righteous judgment. Judgment in general is playing God as if we know all things. So there is no righteous judgment. And that's hard for people to accept, because we can feel better if we can judge people. But there's always something to be understood. There's always something to be understood. And everybody's lost and jacked up and confused. That is not biblical, Joel. Yeah, it is. It's in the Bible. Joel 3:2. Joel Friday 1:6. Nah, I'm playing. But anyways. Oh, shoot. I'm way off center. Thank you, Hake. Hake is telling me to move to the center. I got to end it right now. Really quick. Rick, I got a couple of minutes here, Rick. Welcome to the show. You're on the air. Rick. I got to go, Rick. All right, guys. I got to end. Amazing stuff. Let me just check super chats really quick while I'm here. I'm already a little bit over time. Let me just, while I'm at it, I already got to ask for forgiveness from the boss, JLP. So I might as well just push it a little bit more and ask for forgiveness. Lower the volume. Why are you yelling at me? Let me see. Super chats real quick. Yeah, Mum on YouTube says, well said, Joel. I don't know exactly what he was referring to, but I appreciate that. Right on, man. I'm glad it made sense to somebody. David Morgan, no emotions. Fruits of the Spirit are not emotions. Stay present. Right on. Fruits of the Spirit are not emotional. Fruits of the Spirit are not emotional. Gray Bridgewater, what are your thoughts on the word respect? And should you still respect someone who doesn't respect you? Cheers. Ooh! I'm going to be brief real quick because that's like a whole show. Respect is just like a child of, or like a brother or sister to love. It's in the same family, right? Like when I think of like obedience, like let's just say obedience to God or woman obedience to her husband, wife obedience to her husband, I think of it as respect, right? You have a respect to this person based off of what you know about God. That let's just say that you know your husband. So for a wife to a husband, you know your husband means well. He's seeking after God and he's trying to do the right thing. But sometimes he makes mistakes. Sometimes but you have a respect for him because you know that that's what you're called to do. And regardless of the way a person behaves, you respect them, period. And that's hard to do, trust me. I'll tell you, personal experience, it's hard to respect people who don't respect you. It's hard to respect people who in your own opinion does crazy things. But that's what you're supposed to do, period. Because it's that very respect, that very love that you extend, that God extends to you. So God respects hate. So yeah, respect is like another form, like a version of love to me. And you give it no matter what. Ooh. And sometimes putting your foot down is respect too. Like you respect them enough to keep it real. You know what I mean? Tell them how it is. But you also respect them enough to be gentle and you know, understand the situation. Right on, Bridgewater. Great. I hope that made sense. I'm almost done here. Just double check. Serge said, yo mama, with the donut. Yo mama, Serge. Tu madre. Amazing stuff. All right, y'all. I gotta go. Thank you for the super chats and calls and all that good stuff. I gotta end. Don't demonize the emotions either, because that's still judgment. Oh, my emotions so bad. I'm so bad. I feel so guilty. Now I shouldn't have emotions. Don't do that either. Don't judge the emotions as bad now. We're just called to just watch. Just watch and just be. And watch us make mistakes and watch us enjoy the things that, don't bring us good. Just watch that and don't judge it as bad or you're a bad person. You wanted to do that. You knew that wasn't going to be. Just watch all of it. And in doing that is how we're surrendering all of it to God and letting go. So I'm done. I'm back here tomorrow for some more mess, some more stuff, So make sure you guys tune in tomorrow. Joel Friday TV across the board, IG, YouTube, Punchy TV on YouTube. Brand new show. We're on episode 4, and it's going. We're on a roll. So make sure you keep tuning into that every Monday at 2 p.m. Pacific time. Subscribe to that as well. American Anchor Baby is coming in at 4 p.m. today. Make sure you tune into his show, The American Anchor Baby on YouTube. I gotta go. Until next time, y'all, have fun and do something. Bye.